Well, expectations are rife that lockdown restrictions could possibly be eased. Earlier this week, President Cyril Ramaphosa held consultations with representatives of political parties and the religious sector on the COVID-19 pandemic. For more on expectations now, we're joined by I Lucky Ntimane, Convenor for the National Liquor Traders Association, or Council rather. Lucky, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you, Nati, and good afternoon to SABC News viewers at home.
Now, Lucky, expectations are obviously high that lockdown restrictions will be eased. We know that President Cyril Ramaphosa, as you've just heard, has also met with the National Command Council on coronavirus on Tuesday. So he is likely also to address the nation this afternoon, or this evening rather. What have you heard? What do you know about what's likely to be happening over the next couple of days?
So, Nati, yes, we've also heard that there is a strong likelihood that the president is going to make an announcement or address the nation tonight based on the consultations that he has had over the past few days or so. And our full expectation of the president is that he's going to ease the restrictions that are placed on alcohol sales as far as the retail sector is concerned, but also that, curfew is also going to be eased off a bit, so that to allow the restaurant sector, to fully recover in that space. But also we are hopeful that, the gatherings, the numbers are also going to be looked at. There is talk that, these could be increased by even as much as 100%. So we are just holding our breath and awaiting the president to address the nation tonight. That is our full expectation.
Well, we'll see. We'll have to obviously wait for that confirmation from the presidency. But Lucky, just talk to us about the past couple of months. We know that your industry really took a beating when we first went into lockdown as a country. What has happened significantly in the last couple of months where we saw restrictions being eased further when we went into lockdown level 3?
I think the lockdowns have been very hard for the alcohol industry. In fact, we are the most hardest hit industry of all in the country. If you look currently, the nightclubs have not opened their doors since the 26th of March 2020, meaning that all the jobs that are aligned to that sector are lost for good, and they won't come back because there hasn't been any talk to open that space. But also, if you look at the retail sector that has been operating over a 4-day period, whereas their costs are covered at 100%, it means that we've got our workers that are on short time, and they have the cost that they have to manage with their families at 100%. This is an unsustainable model, but we have also seen a lot of bottle stores closing their doors for good. This is not good at all if you look at the bigger picture of the contribution that, some of these retailers make. I mean, if you look at your Tops, your Pick n Pay, all of them have made losses in their alcohol space. So we feel that it's about time that government is actually able to make decisions that are based on science, that are able to protect the livelihoods that are dependent on the alcohol sector. But if you look at the taverns as well, who employ about 250,000 jobs, it's been a tough one because the stop and start do not augur well into businesses that operate as a hand-to-mouth type of enterprise. So we feel that we need certainty in the industry, and government continues to ignore the alcohol industry. And I must mention that since the 26th of March 2020 till today, we are yet to meet with the president, despite countless letters that we wrote to him. We are made to feel that, we are treated with disdain, that our contribution to the country, to society doesn't matter. And we are hoping that, that attitude, that government, or the president for that matter, continues to meet against us. And we're hoping that this attitude is going to change so that we can all work together for the good of society, for the good of the country. I mean, the story in Kimberley of the lounge, where there's been innovative ways to encourage people to vaccinate, is something that we fully support. And congratulations to Kindo for doing this. We are on record as saying, as liquor traders, that we fully support the issue of vaccination, and we encourage our patrons to vaccinate because this is the shortest way in which you can all fight the COVID-19 pandemic together. So we are actually on the side of government. We're just asking for government to meet us halfway so that we can find ways and means to work together. We cannot afford another ban. We cannot afford, another wave that is going to fully condemn our people to poverty.
Would you say then, just given what you have just been telling us, would you then say that your relationship with government is strained, considering that you have not had, the privilege to sit with the president since March 2020? You've just now indicated that some of your patrons have lost their jobs completely and may never, ever get them back. I mean, you've differed significantly with government as it pertains to those who consume alcohol and therefore abuse, the restrictions restrictions or don't adhere to the restrictions. Government has said that, they've had to make some of these restrictions, especially with this industry, more significant because of the numbers that we see in hospitals during this time. So how would you describe your relationship with government at this time?
We have been begging government to meet with us, so that is not really an assertion that our relations are strained. We've got a great relationship with the Premier of the Eastern Cape, Oscar Mobuyane, the Premier of Gauteng, David Makhura, as well as the Premier of the Western Cape, Alan Wynne, who continue to give us advices in terms of how we can go about, supporting our communities, our families, our businesses. And we appreciate those partnerships that we've developed with those three provinces that we've mentioned. So ours is really a positive attitude that we're taking towards government to say, we are ready to meet and talk to you so that we can find, a common resolution that is going to work for all of us. We cannot afford to only have an issue of lives being looked at whilst compromising the issue of livelihoods, because before we know it, poverty is going to be a pandemic and there's no vaccine for poverty. So we feel that, it's about time that government, especially the president, really levels with us, sit with us so that we can find ways and means in which we can sustainably create a model for sustainability in the alcohol sector so that we're able to support government fully in fighting against the COVID-19 pandemic, but also that we're able to support our families without having to worry about another ban or another restrictions that are fully not justified and they have no basis in science or even facts.
Talking about the premiers you've got a good relationship with, you've recently met with the Gauteng Premier David Makhura to see how you can help boost the vaccination drive. Talk to us about what that meeting, was, what you talked about in that meeting. Why was it important for you as an industry to get involved, particularly with the vaccination drives?
We welcome that initiative by the Premier of Gauteng, to have a meeting with the alcohol industry, to look at ways and means in which we can support the province of Gauteng to address the issue of vaccination. When we looked at the numbers together with in that meeting that was chaired by MEC Pakstow and also attended by Dr. Mkheti, the MEC for Health, we could understand where the province was coming from. I mean, we're sitting at about 3.5 million people vaccinated in a province of about 15.8 million people, with a target sitting at about 10.5 million. We feel that we have a role to play as an alcohol industry, and we made our commitments known to the Premier, rather to the MEC of Economic Development, as well as of Health, to say we are going to support you. We feel that the initiative, to encourage people to vaccinate is something that we have to take a collective responsibility for. And also, we support the drive, that a company like SABC and Distel have taken to support, various provinces in ensuring that there is a vaccination drive. I know that, for example, in Limpopo, SABC is partnering with the government there to encourage people to vaccinate. So ours is really to support government, and we stand, firm in this resolve that we are going to work with government to ensure that our people are vaccinated, our patrons are vaccinated.
And in fact, in this drive to get a lot of people vaccinated, there's been a lot of talk about how you incentivize people, etc. Now, as an industry, would you consider a vaccine passport, as an example, to buy alcohol in South Africa?
We welcome this type of conversations because they stimulate, other ideas coming to the fore. But we feel that the issue of vaccine passport is actually is premature. Just a few hours ago, the Minister of Health in the UK actually scrapped the idea of vaccine passport for nightclubs because it was unsustainable. If you are going to introduce a measure in one sector, it becomes unfair on other sectors that might also be looking for the same thing. But we welcome that these discussions are taking place. But our voice is that, a vaccine passport for the alcohol sector is not sustainable and it's something that we cannot consider for now.
Lucky, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it. Lucky Ntimane, convener for the National Liquor Traders Council.